If you blank out when you see words like Vindicate or Ubiquitous on a test, believe me, you're not the only one. But that ends today. This is the U.S. Military Test Prep channel from Study.com. My name is Matt, and I'm a U.S. Army vet and an ASVAB test prep expert. In this video, we're taking your word knowledge prep to the next level with advanced strategies and 10 more must-know vocabulary words that show up again and again on the ASVAB. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Now let's build your vocabulary bank with 10 high-frequency ASVAB words. These show up often in materials, practice tests, and most importantly, real test feedback, so mastering them gives you an edge. Let's break them down together. The word, its meaning, how it might appear in a sentence, and what to expect in answer choices. Let's start with ubiquitous. This word means found everywhere or constantly present. For example, cell phones have become ubiquitous in modern society. That sentence means that phones are everywhere, and not just popular, but so common you almost can't escape them. So here's a test tip. You might see this in a sentence about technology, trends, or behaviors that are widespread. Common synonyms: common, widespread, omnipresent, pervasive. Watch out. A common trap is mixing it up with unique, which is actually the opposite and means rare or one of a kind. Next is erratic. This word often shows up in military and logistics contexts. It means unpredictable or inconsistent, especially in behavior or movement. That's a red flag, driving that's all over the place or isn't safe or reliable. Other ways this might show up on the test: sudden changes, patterns that break, someone acting out of character. And look out for synonyms like unstable, inconsistent, chaotic, or unreliable. Next up is fortuitous. It sounds kind of fancy, right? And it can trip people up. It means something happened by chance, often in a lucky or helpful way. Example: it was fortuitous that the supply truck arrived just before the storm. That wasn't planned, we didn't know the storm was coming, it just worked out well. Important tip: fortuitous does not equal fortunate. Fortunate always means good. Fortuitous means by chance, and it might be good or just unexpected. Synonyms include lucky, coincidental, and unexpected. Next is scrutinize. To scrutinize something means to look at it very closely, including with detail, with care, and often with suspicion. Example: the officer scrutinized the report for signs of false data. That means that they're not just reading it, they're digging deep, checking facts, and looking for red flags. This word shows up in contexts like inspections, investigations, or data analysis. Synonyms that show up in the test include inspect, analyzed, or examined carefully. The opposite, something casual like glance or skim. Next up is inept. Inept means unskilled, clumsy, or just plain bad at something. It's also usually used to describe someone trying to do a job or operate a piece of equipment that they're not trained for. For example, the technician couldn't even find the power button. He was clearly inept with the new communicate devices. That's not just a learning curve, that's a serious lack of ability and familiarity. On test day, look for synonyms like incapable, unqualified, or incompetent. And heads up, don't confuse it with in-depth. That word means in great detail and is totally unrelated despite looking and sounding similar. Next up, concur. Concur means to agree with or be in alignment with somebody else's opinion. For example, the squad leaders all concurred with the mission plan. That means everyone was on the same page. This word shows up a lot in leadership meetings or decision-making contexts. Similar words to look for include agree, approve, and align. And if you see debate, argue, or disagree, those all mean roughly the opposite. Next is vindicate. Vindicate means to clear someone of blame or to prove someone was right after they were doubted or labeled as incorrect. Example: the investigation vindicated the soldiers' actions. That means they were under scrutiny, and now their name is cleared. This word has emotional weight. It often shows up in legal, disciplinary, or ethical situations. Synonyms include justify, prove innocent, or exonerate. Apathy. Apathy means a lack of emotion, interest, or motivation. It shows up especially when someone should care but doesn't. Example: the commander warned against apathy during training drills. Here, the commander is warning his soldiers against going through the motions of their training with no energy or focus. That's a dangerous attitude in the military and a recipe for disaster once you're deployed and the stakes get higher. Synonyms include indifference, disinterest, or lack of concern. Important: don't confuse this with empathy, which is about feeling for others. Apathy is the absence of feeling. Brevity. Brevity means shortness, especially when it comes to speech or writing. For example, he was known for the brevity of his debriefings. That means that he kept things quick, clean, and efficient. Synonyms: conciseness, succinctness, to the point. If you see rambling or elaborate, those are usually opposite choices. The last word for today is juxtapose. Juxtapose means to place two things side by side, usually to compare or highlight differences. The documentary juxtaposed scenes of peace and war. You'll often see this in situations where the speaker is comparing two different situations or ideas. Common synonyms include compare and contrast, place next to, or set side by side. Pro tip here, think in opposites. This word is generally all about contrasting two related but different things. Quick tip for making these words stick in your brain. Say it out loud. Yep, hearing yourself say it helps it register. Then use it in a sentence that makes sense to you. Finally, quiz yourself with flashcards, apps, whatever works. The goal is to be able to instantly recognize these words on test day. All right, so let's put it into practice real quick. Here's a test-style sentence. The researcher's erratic approach to data collection raised concerns among her colleagues. In this sentence, the word erratic most nearly means A, inconsistent, B, spontaneous, C, experimental, or D, disorganized. If you picked A or inconsistent, you got it. While spontaneous, experimental, and disorganized might seem close in tone, the best fit for erratic in this context is inconsistent. It captures the lack of a steady or reliable pattern, which is what raised concerns among her peers. All right, so here's your next move. Build your vocab with powerful, high-frequency words just like the ones that we covered. When you come across a new word, don't just look it up. Break it down, use it, own it. And time yourself on practice tests. Build that speed and confidence. Strong ASVAB scores mean better jobs, bigger bonuses, and more control over your future. If you're not already using Study.com's ASVAB study guide and test prep tools, now's the time. We've got flashcards, lessons, and realistic practice questions that you need. Check out the link in this video to sign up for an account. And if this video helped you out, hit that like button, drop a comment with your MOS goals, and make sure to subscribe for more real-world test prep tips. Stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.